Trump and his team's 15 decisions last week. US President Donald Trump. Photo collected. Washington, 8 January 2025. According to media reports, Trump and his allies have taken decisions ranging from announcing the US position on Gaza's future to mass layoffs at the foreign aid agency USAID, interfering in golf disputes and banning transgender women from women's sports. Here is a summary of last week's 15 key decisions. 1. Proposal to occupy Gaza.
At a joint news conference with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House on Tuesday, Trump announced that the United States would occupy Gaza and take control of it. He said Gaza was in ruins and would be rebuilt as the Riviera of the Middle East. Trump said Israel would hand over Gaza to the United States after the war ended, and Palestinians living there would be resettled elsewhere. In a message on social media on Thursday, Trump reiterated the proposal, noting that the plan would relocate Gaza's current Palestinian population. He favored making the transfer permanent, but administration officials later said it would be considered a temporary measure for now. However, forcible relocation of the population is against international law. 2. Thousands of USAID employees furloughed. Thousands of U.S. Foreign Assistance Agency, USAID, employees will be furloughed from midnight on Friday. If the layoffs take effect, only a few hundred of USAID's roughly 10,000 employees will be able to continue working as essential workers. The move will disrupt aid operations around the world, and many projects have already been suspended. The Trump administration wants to merge USAID with the State Department. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told a news conference that he is currently serving as the acting head of the agency. 3. Tariffs on China and concessions to Canada and Mexico. On Tuesday, Trump imposed a 10% tariff on Chinese imports. However, the threat of imposing a 25% tariff on imports from Canada and Mexico has been suspended for 30 days. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has vowed to crack down on illegal immigration and drug flow at the US-Canada border. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has ordered the deployment of troops to the country's northern border, in exchange for which the United States has agreed to limit the flow of illegal weapons to Mexico. According to analysts, these new tariffs could further increase commodity prices in the United States and cause inflation to intensify. 4. Encouraging voluntary resignation of government employees. The Trump administration announced financial incentives for government employees to resign voluntarily. But on Thursday night, a U.S. judge temporarily halted the plan. Under the program, it was proposed to pay salaries and other benefits to the departing employees till September. But critics have questioned its legality, and civil servants' unions have warned activists to remain vigilant. 5.
Ban on ICC. On Thursday, Trump issued an executive order banning some International Criminal Court (ICC) staff. As a result of this ban, visa and financial sanctions will be imposed on ICC officials who investigate U.S. citizens or allies, as well as their family members. The Hague-based court recently charged a top Hamas commander and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu with war crimes, which Israel has rejected. Neither the United States nor Israel are members of this court. 6. Attacks on ISIS in Somalia. Trump announced that the U.S. military conducted airstrikes against a top Islamic State (IS) plotter in Somalia on February 1. He claimed that many terrorists had been killed in the operation, but no civilians were harmed. It was not possible to independently verify how many people were killed in the attack. 7. U.S. withdrawal from UN agencies. On Tuesday, Trump signed an executive order that would allow the United States to withdraw from the UN's main Palestine Refugee Agency, UNRWA. The same order stated that the United States would no longer participate in the United Nations Human Rights Council, UNHRC. It has also been asked to re-evaluate UNESCO's membership within the next 90 days. 8. first plane of migrants sent to Guantanamo Bay. On Tuesday, Trump announced that the United States had arranged the first flight to send migrants to Guantanamo Bay. The move comes as Trump announced plans to expand a migrant detention center at Guantanamo Bay, home to the U.S. Navy in Cuba. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security said among those detained were members of the Tren de Aragua, a Venezuelan prison-born gang. According to reports, 10 detainees have been sent and an expansion of the previously existing migrant detention facility is planned to house an estimated 30,000 people. 9. Demand to force Ukraine to supply rare earth minerals. On Monday, Trump said he wanted to secure supplies of more rare earth minerals in exchange for $300 billion in aid to Ukraine. In Trump's remarks, he said, "We want to have a guarantee for what we're going to give. We want to make a deal with Ukraine where they protect the aid we provide them through their rare earth minerals and other resources." Ukraine is rich in uranium, lithium and titanium, which are used in defense and electronics production. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said his country was open to American investment. The 10. Banning transgender people from women's sports. On Wednesday, Trump signed an executive order that would bar transgender women from competing in women's sports. The order mainly lays down rules, guidelines, and legal interpretations for high school, university, and local sports competitions. According to Trump, the order will also apply to the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. He also noted that transgender Olympic athletes who apply for visas to compete in the United States will not be granted visas. The 11. Releasing water from California dams. On Monday, Trump ordered the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to release billions of gallons of water from 2 reservoirs in California's Central Valley that could have been used to fight a deadly fire in Los Angeles in January. Trump claimed California had cut off water supplies that could have helped fight the fires, but California Governor Gavin Newsom and other officials rejected that claim. According to the report, the water was thrown into a dry lakebed located 100 miles, about 160 kilometers, from the site of the fire. Experts and officials believe the water will not reach Los Angeles and will likely be wasted. Congressman Ted Lieu said water from the dam was previously being reserved for farmers to be used for use during the summer season.
The 12. Task Force to Tackle Anti-Christian Bias. On Thursday, Trump signed an executive order that seeks to protect the religious freedom of U.S. citizens and end the use of anti-Christian weapons against the government. New Attorney General Pam Bond has been appointed to head a task force set up by Trump to address perceived anti-Christian bias within the federal government. The order was issued after Trump delivered a speech at the National Prayer Breakfast. The 13. Interference in the conflict of the golf world. A veteran golfer and owner of several golf courses, Trump recently intervened in a dispute over golf competitions. A framework agreement was announced amid negotiations that arose between founding company PGA Tour and its rival series LIV Golf, but the deal could not be finalized by the deadline. This week, the PGA Tour said Trump's intervention had led them to a final deal that would pave the way for men's professional golf re-emergencies. "We asked the president to intervene for the good of the state and sport, and his leadership brought us closer to a final agreement," the report said. The 14. Removing climate change information from government websites. Since last week, the Trump administration has ordered the removal of climate change information from the websites of various U.S. government agencies. It includes the websites of the Ministries of Transport, Defense, Foreign Affairs and Agriculture, where the Forest Service operates. Some climate information remains on the websites of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, NASA, and the Ministry of Energy. Also this week, some staff at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, were ordered to stop communicating with foreign nationals. Behind the change were reports that Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, which is not a government agency, had accessed NOAA's internal website and removed information on a diverse group of employees. The 15. Increased access to Elon Musk's Doge project. The Trump administration specifically supports an initiative called Doge, led by Elon Musk, which is working to shrink the federal government's spending management. According to U.S. media, members of the initiative have been given access to the federal payment system of the United States. This system controls trillions of dollars of money flow annually. The report noted that because Doge is not a government agency, they are still allowed access to a federal treasury system that contains sensitive information on millions of Americans. The move is a reflection of the impact of Elon Musk's new initiative on the government's internal management.